Hello, everyone. Welcome to Meadowlark Library. Today we are reading Once Upon a Time, Town Mouse and Country Mouse, retold by Marilyn Helmer, illustrated by Josée Masse. Town Mouse and Country Mouse. Once upon a time, a little country mouse lived in a hollow beneath the root of a great oak tree. Every morning at sunup, she ate her breakfast and tidied her cozy house. Then she scurried off to the woods to pick nuts and berries. Sometimes she stopped at the farmer's field to gather seeds and corn. When the shadows lengthened in late afternoon, Country Mouse hurried home and made her dinner. By twilight, she was in bed, fast asleep. One day she said to herself, "How nice it would be to have some company. I do believe I will invite my cousin Town Mouse to come for a visit." And so she did. The day her cousin was to arrive, Country Mouse worked all morning cleaning the house. She prepared a fine lunch of wild onion stew, toasted barley seeds, and crisp acorn cookies. Then she set the table with her best bits of china and placed a bouquet of wildflowers in the center. "My dear little house has never looked lovelier," she said, standing back to admire her work. Finally, Country Mouse put on her favorite cotton dress and sat by the window to wait for her cousin. Town Mouse came dressed in silk pants, a velvet jacket, and shiny leather shoes. Country Mouse made him welcome and showed him round her house. "Goodness, what a tiny place you have. My house is much larger than yours," he boasted. "My house may be small, but it's very cozy," replied Country Mouse. "You must be hungry after your trip, cousin. Let's have some lunch." Country Mouse thoroughly enjoyed the meal she had worked so hard to prepare, but Town Mouse turned up his nose at everything. "You've hardly eaten a bit," exclaimed Country Mouse. "Aren't you hungry?" "I'm used to much finer food than this," said Town Mouse. "Now tell me, cousin, what do you do for excitement around here?" "The farmer will be out on his wagon collecting hay," said Country Mouse. "Let's go for a ride and I'll show you the countryside." They were scarcely settled in the wagon when Town Mouse began to complain. The hay made him sniffle and sneeze, and he didn't like the rough ride. "Too bumpy," he squeaked. Afterward, they went to the bramble patch to pick blackberries. Town Mouse grumbled about the hard work. "Too much trouble," he squealed. When Country Mouse suggested a nap in the sun, Town Mouse rolled his eyes. "Dear cousin," he said, "your country life is dull and boring. Come visit me in town. I'll show you how exciting life can be." The next morning, Town Mouse and Country Mouse set off together. When they reached the town, Country Mouse clapped her paws over her ears. "Never in my life have I heard so much noise," she exclaimed, hurrying to keep up with her cousin. She trembled with fear as they dodged carts and buggies and stamping feet. By the time they came to the house where Town Mouse lived, Country Mouse was exhausted. "You'll feel better when you've had something to eat," said Town Mouse. "Come along, you're in for a treat." As Country Mouse followed her cousin from room to room, her eyes grew wide at all she saw. There, thick carpets on the floors, silk drapes at the windows, and fine furniture everywhere. Country Mouse had never seen anything so grand. "This room is the best of all," said Town Mouse, leading her into the dining room. He scrambled up the leg of a huge table. Country Mouse scooted after him. The table was laden with the remains of delicious lunch. There were half-eaten rolls, leftover scalloped potatoes, and one whole serving of ham and noodle casserole. A large platter held crackers and 6 different kinds of cheeses. Next to that was a bowl of rosy apples. Country Mouse could hardly believe her eyes. "Is this all for us?" she gasped. "If we're quick," said Town Mouse. "What do you mean?" asked Country Mouse. But her cousin was already stuffing chunks of ham and cheese into his mouth. Country Mouse was just about to nibble her first noodle when she heard the sound of footsteps approaching. In came a maid with a large tray. "Quick, hide!" squeaked Town Mouse. The maid marched over to the table and began stacking dishes so quickly she almost scooped up the 2 mice. Town Mouse hid under a pile of crackers. Country Mouse covered behind a vase. When the maid left, Town Mouse poked his head out from among the crackers. "We're safe now," he said. But the words were hardly out of his mouth when 2 children raced into the room. "Take cover!" squealed Town Mouse. He ducked behind the bowl of apples, pulling Country Mouse with him. The children leaned across the table to help themselves to the apples. In their haste, they knocked over the bowl. Apples rolled in all directions, and the mice barely managed to scramble to safety. Town Mouse squeezed under the rim of the platter. Country Mouse followed him, shaking from nose to tail. Then suddenly through an open window leapt the biggest cat Country Mouse had ever seen. "Run for your life!" screeched Town Mouse. He scurried across the table, jumped onto the floor, and ducked into a hole by the fireplace. Country Mouse darted after him. As she reached the hole, the cat's huge paw came down on her tail. Town Mouse grabbed his cousin and pulled her to safety, just in the nick of time. Country Mouse collapsed on the floor, trembling all over. "Now that you've seen how exciting town life is," said Town Mouse, "don't you agree that country life is dull and boring?" "It might be dull and boring to you," exclaimed Country Mouse, "but the peace and quiet suit me just fine." With that, Country Mouse said goodbye to her cousin. Quick as a flick of a tail, she was out the door and on her way. By sunset, she was back in her cozy home beneath the great oak tree. From that day to this, Town Mouse has never been seen in the country, and Country Mouse has never been seen in town. Town or country, east or west, the home you love is the home that's best. Thank you for listening to Meadowlark Library. Today's read, Once Upon a Time, Town Mouse and Country Mouse, retold by Marilyn Helmer, illustrated by Josée Masse. Join us next Wednesday to hear our new read on Meadowlark Library. Thank you.